For the first time in history, we've got 4 generations working side by side, and in a few short years, we'll have 5 generations working together. So today, what we're going to do is we'll just focus on the 3 generations that are most represented in today's workplace, which are baby boomers, Generation X and Generation Y. And what I'm going to show you in this webinar will help you understand the distinctions and the similarities between these 3 generations, and also enable you to adapt your approach so that you can motivate, retain, and bring out the best in your generationally diverse team. So let's go through some of my top tips to motivate and retain the different generations. So this is where, as a leader or someone running a business, you might want to think about what you can do here as I go through these. So we'll start with how to motivate and retain our baby boomers. So with baby boomers, my opening comment around this would be, please be age friendly with this. Don't think that because someone is over 50, they're past it. That is just not true anymore, and there's still a fair bit of age discrimination around. So we need to keep up with the times here and realize that there are many people over 50 who are still, very healthy, very active, and very enthusiastic and dedicated to their work. So in terms of how to motivate and retain them, be very respectful when you're dealing with these people. They do like traditional values and do things in person. They like face to face. For example, if you're giving them feedback, give that to them face to face. Don't just shoot them an email. So they're good face to face. They're really good, but they're usually better at this face to face interaction. And I've heard Gen Ys, really go, wow, you're amazing at that. They tend to really admire this about baby boomers, and give them compliments and praise. They're not as needy of feedback as other generations because they simply haven't had it. And thus they don't tend to give feedback easily when they're in managerial roles. So it is something that can come a little bit harder for them, that ability to give feedback when they're in a managerial role. They're often motivated by a position, say a title, or the power of a role, or the prestige of a role. That is something that's important to them. Be flexible wherever possible. So many baby boomers now are in that transition to retirement, and they want to transition to retirement rather than going full-time to retirement. So this is where being flexible wherever possible and allowing someone to ease into retirement, moving from 5 to 3 to 2. If that works in your business, really be flexible with that. And many baby boomers also are caring for elderly parents or aging parents now rather than their children. So they're needing flexibility to deal with that. It's a good idea to get them to mentor younger workers, and you'd obviously want to be selective with this, but this is where you can get them to share their knowledge. But make sure that these people that you choose as your mentors are good communicators and that they're communicating effectively and patiently with younger workers. You don't want to be hearing things like, I say to people that I've coached around this, don't expect an old head on young shoulders, because I often hear things like, oh wow, you'd think they'd know this by now. You'd think they'd be doing this. Well, we've got to remember that Gen Ys are young and they're still learning about the world of work. So allow them to continue their learning. Don't exclude them from learning, particularly learning about technology. Don't say, oh, it's not worth developing them because they're getting on, keep them learning. That's very important. And value their loyalty. This is a great attribute, and many large organisations are moving to employing older workers because of the benefits, such as they tend to be more reliable, they tend to have less sick leave, etc. You might have noticed, like one example of that is Coles. Like Coles, the supermarket, has gone much more into employing older workers than, say some of their competitors have. So it's incredibly important to understand this generation and to adapt your style to bring out the best in them. And if you can adapt your style and apply these tips with baby boomers in your team, you'll get better results from them. Plus, you'll get access to a whole lot of knowledge and life skills and reliability.